Good afternoon. Welcome everybody to the afternoon session of this event, Wibbifit 2024, Women in Business, Banking, Insurance, Investment and Technology in Africa. This is the Summit 2024. It's been an exciting one today. Women shaping the future of Africa. They've been discussing on several topics. And it's another wonderful and exciting afternoon. Today, we're going to have a keynote speech from the MD CEO of 9PSB, one of the leading neobanks, digital bank in Nigeria. She's going to talk to us about a topic that is very, very important to this gathering and to this summit. Before I leave the studio or the stage, the anchor for this program is none other person than Salem Asta. Salem Asta, you're welcome. Branca, you're welcome. It's
Thank
nice to
you.
have you at this point in time. The
Thank
floor
you
is
for
over to
having me.
you, Salem and Branca.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. And welcome everyone to this topic. We'll have the CEO, Mrs. Branca, taking us on digital transformation, the role of women in shaping the future of finance technology. And just before she goes on, allow me to please introduce you to Ms. Branca, who is the CEO of Nine Payment Service Bank, Nigeria's first payment service bank, actually, who are leading the mandate to close financial inclusion in Nigeria. Mrs. Branca is not just a seasoned enterprise resource planning expert with over 15 years of leadership experience in the traditional banking and fintech industry. She is also a honorary senior member of the CIBN. Prior to coming on board 9PSB, she used to work with several multinational digital finance companies where she has shown considerable risk management operations for the company. She has showed these experiences, some of which are in Russia, India, the Asia Pacific region, as well as Latin America, Ukraine, Spain, and so many others. Mrs. Ms. Branca's notable achievements also include a record for accelerating the adoption of financial inclusion, digital payments, and others in various emerging markets around the world. And one thing she's passionate about is women development, which explains why she's on this call. So please permit me to welcome Ms. Branca to this session to take us on digital transformation, the role of women in shaping the future of finance technology. Thank you, Ms. Branca. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Salem Asta. Thank you for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be part of this summit. So the topic, my speech or hopefully interactive communication will be on the topic of digital transformation and the role of women in shaping the future of finance technology. So as we all know, the fintech industry is constantly developing and changing, and it's reshaping the way we manage financial transactions, the way we manage investments, we perceive traditional banking, solve problems of financial exclusion, and so on. So one notable aspect of this remarkable digital transformation in Africa is the increasing participation of women in fintech. And which is both, I would say, empowering and it's reshaping the industry's landscape. So as women continue to break barriers and occupy key position within the fintech sector, their or our contributions are proven to be instrumental in driving innovations and promoting diversity and fostering a more inclusive financial landscape. So the fintech sector, traditionally dominated by male professionals, is witnessing, I would say, very slow, but still a shift as more women actively engage and excel in various roles. So the industry is experiencing encouraging progress as the number of fintech companies founded by women in Africa is almost twice the global average. So nonetheless, it's important to say that there is a still significant gap with only 10% of global board seats in the fintech industry held by women. So I would say that despite many women easily possessing the same skills and expertise as their male counterparts, we often face barriers that can impede our progression into executive roles. And statistics shows that within technology cluster, we have only 6.5 of females founders. In finance, that number is a bit higher. It's around 8.5. And in average, we have around 16% of executive committees as women as I said, in technology cluster, while in finance, that number is a bit below 20%. So addressing this disparity demands concerted efforts to implement transparent promotion policies, mentorship programs, leadership training initiatives, and equal opportunities for investment for female founders. So as a part of this speech, I would actually like to share, because it leads into the following part of my presentation, is that one of the key stereotypes that prevent us to take the higher number when it comes to fintech area and any other area when it comes to women in business is a stereotype of intelligence. So recently I read an experiment that was conducted among 5-year-old children, where they were told, for example, that there was like one company, a group at work, where there were some very, very smart people who think quickly, who are very intelligent and successful. So the kids were given pictures of men and women to say what they believed. Who was that person that was smart and intelligent? And the results showed that the kids equally selected a man or a woman. So they won't tell a difference at the age of 5. However, when they enter the educational system and have already been in the first or second grade, the same experiment showed that majority of the kids, when asked the same question, pointed to the picture of a man. So this experiment actually indicates that young girls started learning that men are smarter very early in their lives. So if we take that into the picture and we say, like, what would be one key factor driving the rise of women in fintech, would be the increasing recognition of their unique perspectives and skills that they bring to the table. The fintech landscape demands a diverse set of talents, ranging from technological experience to creative problem solving, and women are proving to meet these demands. So I would say that today in fintech, women are facing the triple glass ceiling at the intersection of financial, technological, and entrepreneurial gender inequalities. So that brings us to the question, what is the role of women in shaping the future of finance technology? So the major one would be fostering innovation and creativity. So as we all know, the fintech sector thrives on innovation and creativity, and women are making indispensable contribution in these domains. So the inclusion of diverse perspectives, often represented by women, enhances problem solving and drives the development of innovative solutions that cater to a broader audience. So the following role would be a very important one, and that's a leadership role and also influence. So as the fintech industry evolves, we see, especially in Africa, that women are assuming more and more leadership roles, and they are influencing strategic decisions at all levels. So I would say that it's a bit too early to say that this is signaling a departure from the traditional male-dominant leadership structure, but it is a direction to take. Me not being African, coming from Europe, I wanted to share with you like an example of one well-known fintech company, and you must have heard of it. It's called Revolut. It's a leading fintech company in Europe. And what is really interesting to share is that as of today, there is not a single woman on the executive leadership team. So by having more and more prominent female leaders in fintechs, it inspires a new generation of women to pursue career in technology and finance, which also brings us to the next role that we as women have in fintech, and that would be educational initiatives and skill development. So the aim in general would be that to bridge the gender gap in all these different fields like science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and to encourage young girls to pursue career in this discipline. And we see that this is actually paying off. We see more and more women entering fintech with strong educational backgrounds in these relevant fields. And then, of course, there comes networking and collaboration. And I think in Africa, this is really empowering. So just last week, I participated in the second edition of Ladies in Tech. And these networking opportunities actually allow women to share experience, to exchange ideas, to provide support to one another. And these collaborative efforts helps to create a more inclusive culture within fintech companies. And then I would say there is the last but not the least, and the role that I'm very much passionate about is financial inclusion and closing gender gap in financial inclusion. So I would say that influence of women in fintech extends beyond the industry itself. It's reaching into the broader goal of achieving financial inclusion. Women leaders, we see that women leaders are actively promoting inclusive solutions for financial empowerment. They're shaping financial solutions designed for women, promoting financial literacy, promoting digital literacy, digital skills among underserved women. So to put it in a conclusion, I would say that based on countless research papers and statistic data, conclusion would be that fintech makes bold claims of disruption, inclusion, and progression. And but we have to ask a question on a very basic level. How can an industry innovate through sameness if people, all of us that are in this industry, are developing products based on our own needs, on our own frustrations, on day-to-day living? We can conclude that innovation can only truly be driven by diverse people with different background and different experience. So to recognize the need of diverse population, fintech needs more diversity of its producers, which means more women in leading position. Otherwise, it contributes to inequality and wasted potential economic and social benefits. So with this, I would conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Branka. That has been really interesting. In short, I was taking notes while you were running us through your keynote, and some things I found very interesting from these were the statistics you gave about women, the percentage of women we have in technology, and the percentage of women we have in finance, and these are very low. And it also led me to you advocated for equal opportunities for women so that these numbers can grow. And you also touched on the stereotypes that prevents the growth of women in these executive positions. And something you said was very key. We keep producing products to drive financial inclusion. However, how will we achieve something innovative if we stick to just one need? So for us to be able to bring about innovative ideas that will include women and bridge the gender gap, of course, we need female executives to also contribute their ideas to this. Thank you so very much. However, I have some questions. One of which is, you touched on the roles of women. You mentioned that stereotyping, especially the example you gave on how children are groomed to perceive the male and female. And what I want to ask is, how can women better, I don't want to use the word package, but I'll say, how will you advise upcoming female executives who are aspiring to get to the position you're in to portray themselves in a light that depicts that they have the intelligence needed to execute the goal and that they are capable to do what is required of them in their industry?
Okay, thank you, Salem. Thank you for the question. So, as I mentioned during the speech, first of all, it's important to say that it took many, many years, not to say centuries, to build this bias. So, we can't expect to overcome it just in the last few decades. So it will take some time, but we see the progress in right direction. So it comes from educational system as well, empowering girls, as I said, through women that already achieved high position on executive level or board level, or as we see in Africa. When I was doing my research and reading, it's really impressive that we see that we have more women founders of fintech in Africa, like, than anywhere else, like on a global level in world. So the first one is, like, as I said, through education. It starts from early age. People look up to role models. So having more women on this position, more women being promoted, it inspires young girls that, by the age of 5, we have all these ideas what we want to be in life without bringing bias in our life, thinking girls that want to be an astronaut, or like we don't dream to be a CFO or fintech expert, but we don't divide jobs, in which area we belong. So the first one is education. The second one, through promotion of women existing. I met a lot of great seasoned experts, women in fintech here in Nigeria, and they're in their, as they say, in their second career. So they already achieved themselves through in finances or economy, and then they switched their second career to fintech. And through them, I actually entered these network programs where they put together young girls at the beginning of their careers in different spaces: cybersecurity, technology, CIO, you name it. And through their examples, they empowered them how to reach, the stars, to put it like that. And I think what is also needed, it's a bit a shift of mindset. It's not enough to say, I'm valued, I'm equally equal, I can contribute equally. We see this disparity in words. Like I read so many statistics done by Big Four, the recent one done by Deloitte, showing the disparity in earnings in fintech. It says that a woman on the same position as men earns 87% of men's salary. So I think to sum it up, the conscious effort, jointful effort of aligning procedures, having very transparent procedures when it comes to promotions, to support, would actually help more women that are equally skilled and experienced like their male counterparts reach the same executive level.
Thank you so much, Branka. And what I hear clearly is education education starting at an early age to groom our kids to see that women can be more than they've been portrayed to be. Mindset, working on changing the mindset, and we can also achieve this by portraying female leaders, executives who are doing so well in the finance and tech space. Thank you. So I
Exactly.
have another question is how would you say how is how is 9PSD creating an environment for women to thrive in this fintech space, grooming them to be exceptional executive leaders?
Okay, so I have to say at the time we started, this is a startup. We started 3 years ago, and what was interesting to say, I had this mission. I was the first employee, and there was a project team, and my mission was to give equal opportunities. So, and then if there is a female and male for the same position, and like with the needed skills, I would go for female. So it was actually, it's the funny thing, by the time I populated my first line reports, I got a message from through my board. It's very notable what you are doing. It's very nice, but it's time to also hire a man when it comes to your first line managers. So that was the idea actually. It's there is this gap, Salem, that we have to mention. It's one thing to give equal opportunity, but the question is if people are actually given that opportunity, what that means. There is skills and expertise gap. Still, it takes time for us to catch up with everything that our male colleagues achieved through their
Male
careers.
counterparts.
Yes, male counterparts. I read also research recently that says that there was a percentage that there was a big difference between when women enter the tech world, that they stay on a lower level, 40% of them, something like that, after 5 years, while only 5% of men stay at the same position. So in order to groom
Sure.
them to the position of executives, we have to close this gap when it comes, lower levels, and to empower women enough and to support them through different programs, leadership programs, mentoring programs, and equal opportunities for promotion, so that we have more candidates for those executive roles when the time comes.
Thank you so very much. It is exceptional what you've done with 9PSB, especially creating a platform and giving opportunities to women. And of course, I readily agree with you when you say it's one thing to give the opportunity to say, okay, come take up this mantle of responsibility, and it is another thing to then underperform. So yes, you're right when you say that we also need to not just create the opportunities for these women to thrive, but to also equip them with the right skills so that
Exactly.
they can perform when they are given that opportunity. And with that, I'm going to ask you my last question so we can wrap up. And it's based off what you said, your decades of experience, and how women need to train themselves to be ready for these opportunities if it comes up. What advice would you give to young women out there who are interested in pursuing a career in fintech for them to equip themselves? Sharing your experience, what is something you would tell them? Thank you.
Thank you, Salem. So I would say this: working hard is not enough, but it's needed. You need to prepare yourself to work hard and to be able to see opportunities, and not to constrain yourself, not to ask when you see opportunity to be considered. I will say one more thing that is interesting for us women. I think it goes like in general, globally. We don't praise ourselves, and we don't
Enough.
enough, and we don't go out there saying, I did this, I did this, I did this. So we kind of have this mentality, thinking if I work hard enough, that person that is
I would
responsible or that can give me opportunity will see it and give it to me. Reality is that doesn't happen. And it took me very, very long, Salem, to say those words. I want this position, and this is what I have done in my career or in this place, that I deserve that position. And it breaks you free, but it takes a lot of hard work, knowledge, preparing yourself for that opportunity, being on top, and then reaching out for your opportunity.
Thank you. You know, what you said reminds me back then while I was still upcoming in the industry. It took a mentor of mine to tell me that the reason I wasn't progressing in my career, climbing up the career, was because I wasn't, like you said, asking. I had to put this, what you said. I wrote ask and
Mm-hmm.
I put an asterisk. I wasn't asking. And like you rightly said, I was hoping that if I worked hard enough, my senior management could see that I was working hard enough and reward me, but that wasn't happening. So, like you rightly said, it took me asking to say, I have done this, I've achieved this, and I think I'm able to do this, for me to break that jinx. So you're right, and thank you so much for the wonderful pearls of wisdom you shared with us today. We appreciate it, and we say thank you.
Thank you, Salem. Thank you for having me here today.
It's a very good and
Over
exciting
to you, Mr.
session. It's a very good and exciting session. Thank you, Salem Master, for doing justice to that. And my greatest appreciation to Branca.
Thank
You
you.
took out your executive time to be a part of this event. We really appreciate you. And we thank you for spending your time, not just your time, for sharing knowledge with us. I guess it's very, very important for such information, and that it should be carried out there so that women, ladies, girls, young girls can know what they need to do in order to upskill in their career and also in their profession. Thank you so much. It's nice having
Thank
you,
you.
and we look forward to having you again soon.
Thank you very much.
You enjoy the rest of the day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, Branka.
Yeah, this is the end of another session of the Wibbifit 2024. The program continues. Stay tuned. Thank you.